In the Bible, there was a verse that says, where there is no vision, the people perish. In other words, when you lack no direction, when you lack no roadmap, when you don't know where you're going, the people perish. They fall apart. They drift into chaos. They have no vision. That's what I want to talk to you guys about today. What is your vision? Where are you going? What do you want? When you think about your life, what is the impact that you want to have? Because, yeah, the money, the car, the big house, the shiny stuff, the beautiful girlfriend, handsome boyfriend, whatever. Yeah, these things are cool. These things are great. But they're not vision. They're just shiny objects. Vision is when you can describe the thing you want. Because to say, I want a high paying job. Okay, cool. But what kind? What does it look like? What are you doing there? How does it feel? What is your day to day life in that vision? Because when someone is making a movie, they have a script. They know the characters, they know the scenes, they know the events of the movie. The director can describe what the movie is going to be like, look like, sound like, feel like before they've even started rolling the cameras. So in our example, you have to have that mental movie. You're the director, you're the actor, you're the script writer. What is your vision? When I was younger and I first had the idea of, hey, I want to be a public speaker. I want to go speak on these stages. I want to do X, Y, Z. I can describe it. Like I could describe it to you. I'm going to have an office and it's going to be here. It's going to look like this. It's going to have this. I'm going to travel the country and I'm going to talk about these subjects. I'm going to be around these sorts of people. I'm going to have a morning routine like this. I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Bang, bang, boom. This is the vision. Now, that's not to say that you need to have every tiny detail of your vision mapped out, but you have to be able to explain it. Because saying, I want a lot of money, that's not a vision. Saying, I want a good job, that's not a vision, that's a thing. Vision is something that has emotion to it. Vision is something that drives you forward. It is your North Star. It is your compass. It is the target. It is pinpoint. It is not, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. No, it is this. And it's not just, maybe some of this, maybe some of that. No, you have to be clear. You have to be definite. You have to know this is the vision. When a pilot takes off, they know we are in California right now. We're going to Philadelphia. Not, we might go to Pittsburgh, we might go to New Jersey, we might go to Delaware. No, we're going here. This is the vision. We're going to take off from California Airport. We're going to land in Philadelphia International. We're going to go to Philadelphia. That's how you have to be about your vision. There are no alternatives. There is no other option. It's just a vision. It is A. What is plan B? Plan A. If plan A doesn't work, plan B. Plan B, make plan A work. Now, of course, when it comes to major life changes, I understand why people have a backup plan, just in case. Now, that sounds smart, and sometimes it is, but there are moments in life where you have to be willing to put it all on the table. When I signed the lease for this office, I knew if I don't pay these bills, there's going to be some problems. But I said I'm getting an office, so even despite the fear, even despite the worry, even despite the what ifs, I did what had to be done. I put my name on that paperwork and I signed the dotted line. So when you say, this is my vision, I'm going to become a doctor. When it's time to pay up that tuition, Ooh, I don't want to pay that, but I know the vision. I got to do what I got to do. Ooh, I don't want to have to eat ramen noodles for a couple of weeks and couple of nights, but I got to do what I got to do. Ooh, I don't want to break out this relationship that ain't good for me, but I got to do what I got to do. I don't want to have to leave these friends. I don't want to have to stop hanging around these certain family members. I don't want to have to stop doing this, but I got to do what I got to do. And it's so critical that you understand this because the vision, that mission, that thing that you want to do, it's not going to be smooth sailing all the time. There will be time when you have doubt. There will be time when you have fear. There will be time when people look at you and say, this guy crazy. What is he doing? Let them laugh. Let them judge while you fly to freedom. The people at your job who might be saying, what you doing with that little business? Let them judge. Let them. Because when they succeed, they're going to be eating their words. Let me tell y'all something. Back when I worked at McDonald's, I was 16 years old. And I had this coworker, no, I was 17 at this point. And I had this coworker who I'd be on my laptop, clicking away. He came over. He said, what you working on? Like, you doing your homework? No, I'm writing a book. This man said, ain't nobody going to buy that. And this is the problem. A lot of times, we allow other people's judgments to poke holes in our ship. Think about one of those big ships, like one of those cruise ships, or a battleship, or a cargo ship, or whatever. Just a really big boat. We allow people to poke holes in that and let that water start coming in. But those things, you're not poking a hole in that. You're not taking that down because they know who they are. I'm a battleship. You can't just poke a hole in this and sink me. No. But we treat ourselves like we're just some little rowboat. We treat ourselves like, what if they say this? What if they say that? What if they say this? Let them say what they're going to say. Their opinion ain't going to kill you. And I think that we give so much of our mental energy to what other people have to say about us and what other people think about us that we lose sight of the vision. Imagine if the pilot, right, they're flying the plane and the passenger say, I think you should fly it this way. I think you should turn over here. I think you should do this. I think you should do that. But you're not the pilot. You're not the one behind the controls. Okay, so what I'm saying is this, right? You're the pilot. You're the one behind the controls. But why are we listening to the passenger? Why are we listening to somebody who doesn't know how to fly this plane? They don't know what we're doing. They're just along for the ride. And sometimes you got to be willing to say, hey, I love you, I value you, and I appreciate you, but you holding me back. Every time when I try to do something new, it's, why are you trying to do that? Why do you think this? Who you think you are? You got to toss them out the plane. You better hope they got a parachute. I love you. Sayonara. Because you got to love yourself enough to put yourself first. Not that you be, selfish and arrogant and just don't care about anybody except yourself. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you have to love yourself enough to let people go. You have to love yourself enough to leave. You have to love yourself enough to put yourself first. You have to love yourself enough to say, this person, this place, this thing, this habit, this music, these friends, this relationship, this family member, this job, whatever, it ain't good for me. I gotta go. I gotta go. A couple years ago, I was working a door-to-door sales job, and I loved my coworkers. Wonderful people, amazing boss. It was great. But I realized over time that, it just wasn't good for my mental health. The people were good, but it was like, every day I'm getting hundreds of doors slammed in my face. I'm getting cops called on me. I'm dealing with this. I'm dealing with that. I'm barely sleeping because it took me 2 hours to get there. I'm hardly eating. It was a lot. And I had to know when I have to leave. That's something that we all need to work on. I understand that a person might have been good to you. A situation might have been good for you. Whatever. But there comes a point where we outgrow certain things. We realize that this isn't what I want long term. we realize that there's changes that need to be made. And you got to focus on the vision. You got to focus on where am I going? What do I want? What do I want my life to be like? So, Lawrence, how do we figure that out? Like, how do I figure out where I want to go? How do I figure out what do I want to create? You spend some time getting to know yourself. You spend some time journaling, writing things out, going, I know that all my life, mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, my third grade teacher, my friends, my relationships, I know that they said, this is how you should live. This is all you can do. Like, this is what life's supposed to be like for you. I know I've been hearing this. Like, I know I've been hearing, you go to college, you get a job, you get a wife and 3 kids, you get a dog, you live this way, you make this kind of money. I know I've been hearing this all my life, but what do I want? Do I want to be a plumber? Do I want to open up a flower shop? Do I want to make music? Do I want to be an artist? Do I want to sell paintings on the Instagram? What do I want? And you have the audacity to go for it. You have the audacity to make that Instagram account and start posting those paintings, to learn how to play the drums, to speak a different language, to date a different type of person, to travel to some different parts of the world, to save your money instead of spending it on the newest shoes and the newest phone and trying to impress everybody, to ride a bike instead of having a car, to live the life that you want. But in order to live it, you have to know, what do I want? And you have to focus on the vision. You have to take action. You have to make sacrifices. You got to do what you got to do to get what you want in life. With that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you're looking for one-on-one coaching, you can find that link in the description below, as well as the links to my books. And if you're looking for a podcast guest, speaker for your high school, youth organization, or mental health group, you can contact me at lawrence@lawrencecharris.com. Have a wonderful and blessed day.